Eternity in an Hour. That is the title of this segment. I'm telling you, the titles for these segments of RIN's Root just keep getting weirder and weirder. But even this title in a segment or something like that, I'm not sure. But we're gonna find out probably. Today's art club meeting is currently on hold while everyone waits for Nomiya to show up. I take this time to try and explain my theory about Yamaku to RIN. I've tried to figure out what exactly about the school feels so special to me. That concept I unsuccessfully tried to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas mature a bit. Have you noticed that people talk all the time? I can't really explain it, but once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body is heavily clicked, and I'm now only beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks. And yet the feeling of being a part of a group is stronger here than I remember it being in my old schools. Maybe because because of their disability, so they're like more self-conscious of themselves. So that's why they tend to be closer. Yeah. I'm trying to say that this school isn't like any other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. Oh well, whatever then. I want to pursue the issue, but at that point, Nomiya arrives. Alright. The teacher is wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily. He quickly glances over the room, then settles down a bit. Hello. Apologies for being late. Is everyone present? Good. I must confess, I haven't really planned anything for today as I have been extremely busy, Master Lady. But I'm sure we can come up with something entertaining. Anyone have any suggestions? I was thinking we could have a discussion of sugar since we haven't had one in a while. Why, I at least have found the last one magnificently enjoyable. Okay, his face seems a bit to frown or something. There are some murmurs here and there, but nobody raises their voice in support of or against Nomiya. We could delve into various movements of art, or does someone have a good topic in mind? I don't know, art is subjective, so anything goes. Come on, throw it out there. It doesn't matter if it's silly or odd. We can always cook up something interesting. Sure, space. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make such a suggestion. As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I leave my hand in the air. Oh, Hisao? Oh, our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. Speak up, my boy. Speak up. Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've always wondered why art exists in the first place. Because it's art. Art is subjective. My voice trails off. A silence sets in the room and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. So, you're asking about art itself. Yeah. Then the teacher bursts in laughter. Ho, excellent. Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with the big one, huh? Fabulous. Chuckling, he shifts some papers around on his desk for a few moments. When he's done, he appears to have made some sort of decision. Very well then, let us run with this and see where it gets us, shall we? Oh my, even an old fogey like me gets excited when such delicious enthusiasm is present. Oh my, indeed. Let me gather my thoughts a moment so I can figure out a good starting point for everyone. So we're going to the complex stuff, the abstract stuff, something which RIN specializes in. For some reason, the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. He scribbles a few things down on a loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses with a handkerchief. What's with this pose? You look like a beauty here with those eyebrows, or rather eyelashes. Oops. He strikes a pose, then freezes for an overtly dramatic, artistic pause that spans what must be half a minute. Oh yeah. It's so quiet I could hear a pin drop.
First, let's come up with a few questions that we want answered, such as, what is art? And why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related?
The boy with sunglasses pipes up almost immediately. His voice is soft and quiet, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After him, another question comes up. If I fill a cardboard student with water and call it art, is it art? Yes, like I said, art can be anything. Art is subjective. You know, just look at the Dada period, you know, those art periods, recent art periods, like the Dada period, the pop art period, and the Cubism period. Anything goes, man. Even a painting of a Mona Lisa with a moustache, that's art. Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher.
Great! Wonderful of this! Let me start by saying that this is not a clear-cut issue by any means, and as such, I'm not going to give any answers to you. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective.
Yeah, there are no right or wrong answers in art anyway.
Scholars have argued about these sorts of questions since time immemorial, and there have never really been a broadly applicable consensus reached. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. Hopefully you all should find this acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be obtained to a definition from the outside, such as the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Whatever that means. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something completely outrageous that challenges any and all preconceptions. The core reason for this is that rather than the rational side of the mind, art appeals to the intuition.
Yeah, that's why we have abstract art, you know.
The instinct, the primer. You'll find it very hard to explain why exactly it is that you enjoy some particular style piece. No?
He doesn't wait for a response before continuing.
This is exactly why. So, art is this sort of wow, uncontrollable thing that lurks somewhere deep in our subconscious. Now, why does it exist?
I don't know, God created it. Nomiya apparently expects someone to pipe out with a guess, but as nobody dares to interrupt his inspired speech, he continues.
It was a trick question. You see, art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you may say that art exists for no other purpose than itself. Yeah, it's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It's the defiance of a mortal against the face of the darkness, as was once said. Art is truly the proof of our existence. You also know that human culture and civilization are tightly tied to the existence of art. Then, what about artists? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing so fickle and mysterious that it even defies definition?
Well, ask Pablo Picasso, I don't know, he draws a ton of abstract art.
There are as many answers for this as there are artists, but if I had to put it into words, an artist doesn't make art because he can, but because he must.
He must? Nomiya takes a pause, and his gaze sweeps over his audience, eyes flaring with passion.
It is obvious that art touches the very soul of each and every human being one way or another. So, if we were given a chance to connect with our fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not?
Yeah, this much I agree. Yes, it does touch the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another.
There is a poem I'm very much fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. I feel that For me personally, for all possible things, it captures best the essence of what it means to be an artist.
Nomiya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. You're going to recite the poem now. Looking at some distant place, he utters the words in the heavy afternoon air with his soft basso voice.
To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, whole infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour.
There is a solemn and unbelievably awkward silence after he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares speak a word. Nomiya clears his throat again.
To be an artist is to see the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without art, there would not be much to live for in this world. It is the most profound thing.
Yeah, like I said, art is subjective. I mean, this piece of laptop, this piece of video that you're watching right now, it can be art too, you know? Even my voice can be a form of art in itself. He's clearly touched by this notion. I almost expect to see a lone tear rolling down his rough cheeks, but it never comes. It could happen. I turned to RIN and whispered to her. So how is this a discussion, Circle? Yeah, especially when Nomiya is the only one talking. She shrugs nonchalantly back at me.
The previous ones were the same.
To his credit, Nomiya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a bit guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe we would have been spared from this. As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any pin or pens today, and I feel somewhat disappointed. Nomiya suddenly appears next to us. He seems to be still fired up from the speech he delivered. His cologne smells musky and saccharine at the same time, giving me an instant headache, even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes. He's looking at RIN like a hungry wolf.
Hey Zuka, do you remember Mr. Sayonji who visited us at the festival?
I think so.
I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. That's how I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display.
That's an honor, you know. He ends his sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting RIN to show some sort of joyous, shocked reaction at such grand news, but she just stares at him blankly.
Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real chance for us to get ahead, girl.
But...
Now, I know what you're about to say. This will be a simple affair, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we even make it big. This could be the first step. And then, when the word is out, we strike while the iron is hot. Right, Nakai?
Yeah, it does sound pretty great. If you're into that kind of thing.
See? We should definitely not let this one pass, am I right?
I don't... Really? RIN seems to be troubled for some reason. She seems hesitant. I can't figure out why. What Nomiya is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. Maybe she actually just doesn't want to move on, like, I don't know why though. And is it just me, but does the outside look like it's snowing? So I guess, I don't know. She looks pretty down though and confused. I've never seen her like this.
So, what do you think?
RIN looks up to her teacher's glowing face, then back down at her desk. Backs down. I'll think about it. Nomiya is at last taken slightly aback by RIN's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles widely at her and gently pats her head.
Good girl.
The club meeting is finally over, and as I lazily collect my things and help clean up, I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do, however, so it's over quickly. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier, so we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomiya's passionate speech about art, and Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. Penny for your thoughts? That'll be too cheap. Too cheap? You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'll be fraud too, like stealing a candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put on display and all that? She doesn't answer but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along a hallway. I think I'm gonna go somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do, and I'm supposed to do some light exercise. Well, as long as it has nothing to do with your period. If you like, okay. Oh, so we come to this part of the school. I think I've never seen this part of the school before. So this is something new. This looks like the side gate or something. To the garden, I guess. Rin leads me outside to the wall behind the dormitories. There is a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty, as if it hasn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely a new place. This park looks a bit different from the park we've seen before in Amy and Hanako's routes, the other routes. Yeah, that one looks more like an open park. This one looks a bit more foresty. Yeah, it's a woodland park after all. A path leads deeper into the forest. Tall zelkova and maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in the places where the shadows fall. The forest smells strongly of earth. I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is as hot as ever. Well, a forest tends to feel quite cooling, you know. Oh, but you said cold, okay. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker, sure-footed but with no apparent destination in mind. Her thoughts seem to be somewhere else. Well, she's always the type that, you know, is always lost in thought. Yeah, she strikes me as that. I follow a few steps behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. The path follows the land uphill at a low angle, sometimes making little detours downhill before climbing back upward. The muted ground and grey trunks line the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and other undergrowth. Wow, we're going deeper and deeper into the forest. After a little while, I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost, but it doesn't look like we have any particular destination. Unless, well, Rin's just wandering around, I don't know. Then we're just following her for nothing. But that's fun in itself too, I guess. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go so far that I get too tired to walk back. I'm starting to get a little winded and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath and rest my legs, but Rin keeps on going. We're still deep within the forest. Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere at all? Worry tree. Worry tree? Okay, it's where you pour all your worries to that tree or something? I see. What do you see? So what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree. Like this? She stops in front of a particularly large maple that might or might not be the worry tree. Whatever that is, its large green leaves sway lightly in the breeze, blowing through the small clearing we entered here. Alright, I guess that's much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery. If you are miserable,
Only by people, I mean me. And the tree isn't really called anything.
So you just gave it a name called Worry Tree. Very nice name. So, if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it. Well, there are myths about it, you know. There are such things that do exist.
No? What? You can't talk to trees? What do you think I am? Crazy?
I don't know, Rin. No, I didn't mean it like that.
Or maybe you talk to trees? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that you're crazy. Even though you probably are if you talk to trees. Um, I wouldn't recommend it in either case. People will think you're a weird person.
Not like you want to talk, Rin. No, I just forget it. She looks mildly confused, for which I don't blame her at all. She tilts her head a little to the side, expression melting back to her usual one.
Alright, I'm good at forgetting things.
So why are we here then? Are you miserable then? I can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. Oh, don't be. I mean, it's very difficult to read Rin. I mean, like I said before, it's really very difficult to get Rin's mood, you know. So, because she's really hard to read. She doesn't answer right away, as if she herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Well, it really doesn't, especially when you don't know what Rin's even talking about.
Maybe. I just feel like I'm sinking underwater. I don't know what I should do.
Okay.
I don't know where I should go. That's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like, if I go somewhere, I would know where I should go. I don't really know if it did.
Well, I know what you mean. It's like you just wander around, explore around aimlessly, just to kill time. Yeah. Well, people do that, you know, stroll around the park just to kill time.
It really would make sense if walking had helped to decide where to go.
So you don't want to try to get an exhibition? Or rather, you don't know if you do? Can't decide? Green doesn't say anything for a while, arranging her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by bird song from somewhere in the treetops. Yeah, I can hear those birds chirping, followed by rustling leaves as the bird takes flight.
Maybe. I'm not sure if I can ever think like that. So far I've only painted for myself. I don't think I could have my things on display the way I am now. This me couldn't do it.
Her reason sounds like a weak excuse. I make my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. I don't get it. The teacher certainly thinks you could. I don't think he would suggest it otherwise. Sounds like he's calling in favors from his friends too. Yeah, you should be glad, you know. So I'm not sure why you aren't like happy or what, Rin.
I know. He's really done a lot for me. But this might be too much.
Too much? Like, okay, first things first. Rin, is this really what you want? That's the most important thing.
Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I couldn't do it at all. They can't do it for me, and if I then try, I'll just sink deeper and deeper.
So basically you have low self-esteem. Rin stands in front of the large maple and turns away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us and... I don't know. My irritation is suddenly gone and I start feeling sympathetic to her. I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still... I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my own life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going along with the flow. I kind of get what you mean. Although in the case of Rin, she's talented, but the important thing is art, is painting really what she wants. That's the most important thing. Probably it's not really what she wants. I don't know. But that's something Rin will have to figure out for herself. Like coming here to this school, I didn't really choose it myself. And I certainly didn't choose this time of my life to learn that I have this condition. I still can't casually say the word aloud. The arrhythmia. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater. You're trapped underwater, you know. Like I can't even breathe. Rin turns to face me again, a sad expression on her face. Oh, I think this is an expression we haven't seen before. A sad expression. Yeah. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad at you. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't know. I don't look sad all the time. I just don't know what I should be feeling. What kind of face I should be making. Me neither. Do I look sad now? Yeah, you kind of do. Not really. You look like you always do, I think. No, if you notice her face carefully, she looks different. You see? Oh man, it looks different. But I'm sinking. I should try to float. Up, like a rubber duck. Quack quack, all yellow and creepy. I have to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation. Then I realized that it doesn't matter. Just go with the flow. You think rubber ducks are creepy? You don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing. Like rubber ducks and reflections in mirror. You have a phobia for ducks? Rubber ducks? She plops down on the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down too, 3 feet apart from her. Alright, I thought we were gonna get a CG, but not really. We just get a CG of the tree trunks, alright? The forest envelops us in its embrace, and its stillness falls upon the two of us. We sit there without speaking for a long while. I can literally feel the time passing. Patches of sunlight litter the small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. I wonder what I could do for myself, and maybe for Rin. For now I just keep watching her from this distance. Sometimes she cranes her neck all the way back, so much that it looks almost painful, and stares up at a small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly ahead, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. She keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly that I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving, like she was in the middle of a distant dream. I realize that right now, I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night, just before falling asleep. I might be more like Rin than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all the crap in my life, or try to change myself for the better. If you think of it that way, yeah, I think that's kind of makes sense. Her decision is different, yet the same. And unlike her, I know for sure that I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. Wow, what kind of a choice is this? I want to be more like Rin, or I want to be more like Amy. I think... I mean, if you think about it, this is kind of like a no-brainer, right? Why would you want to be more like Amy, you know? I mean, obviously this is Rin's route, so... You know, Rin's route, that would mean you should be more like Rin, right? Right. Although then again, it might be a trick question, but I don't think this is a trick question, really. I mean, to be more like Amy seems like an odd choice here anyway. When it's Rin we're talking about here, this is Rin's route after all, right? So kind of an odd choice to have, you know, to have Amy right here, you know. So, and anyway, I'm really getting closer and closer to Rin, becoming more and more like Rin. So why would I suddenly want to be more like Amy? You know, it's like it's out of character. You know? So yeah, I want to be more like Rin. So yeah, I mean, why not? Even though she's weird and all. Rin could probably do it. Even though she seems to doubt herself, I have no doubts about her strength. She could do it, even if she can't. It makes me feel a little bit better too, and I lean back against the tree, breathing out deeply as if for the first time in a long time. Oh, We stay that way in the small clearing until the angle of sun changes and the chilly shadows deepen. No longer warm where we sit. It's reaching night, so it's going to get very cold. We leave the forest, returning along the same path we took coming in. It doesn't seem like RIN has come to a decision. I wonder if it was a bad idea for me to come along. It's alright. I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks don't mind either. Did you mind? Well, I I don't know. I mean, would non-living things mind? I don't think they would even have the ability to mind. No, not at all. I think it helped me too. Okay, so it's close to night time really. While we walk back towards the dormitories, the sky is changing to a deep ultramarine. The first summer stars twinkle softly from between spots in the canopy, barely visible like tiny fireflies. But anyway, this is really one of a kind. I mean, all the other routes we never came here, right? So this is the first time we're coming to such a serene and tranquil forest. You know, just sit there, you know, relax. It's good in a sense, you know. Helps you relax, calm your mind. I become very self-conscious about RIN's presence. I haven't thought much about girls since things fell apart with Iwanako. This is kind of the same situation as then, but to be honest, I don't think it really counts for much. Not with RIN. And yet, it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't anything more than this. At first I think RIN agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behavior. But recently I feel I haven't had to be on my toes so much, because I've already gotten used to her, so yeah. I've managed to let myself go a little. No, don't be too angry, just, you know, yeah, just see things on a broader perspective. Yeah, actually come to think of it, it's kind of interesting. It makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately I think it's more thanks to RIN than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing RIN would take near superhuman effort just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there is this relentless feeling inside of me that I shouldn't let RIN down. It's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectations she has about pretty much anything. So how could I let her down? RIN has this unassuming air around her, and she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a little bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her and get to understand her unpredictability. The realization suddenly dawns on me that RIN is basically the only person I talk to nowadays, apart from whatever I have to endure from Shizune, Misha, or Kenji. I feel slightly depressed. Okay, we're back at the dormitory. In front of the dormitories, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, we run into Kenji himself. Oh man, this is going to be an interesting interaction. I mean, I have not seen, you know, RIN and Kenji, you know, being face to face with each other before, so this is going to be an interesting conversation. It feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it really does. I partially expect Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun, like a vampire. Kenji himself seems very insecure as well, standing around looking like he's waiting for something, but doesn't know himself what it might be. Hey Kenji, what you doing? Hello? Who are you? Wow, what's with this music? Don't tell me the two are going to confront each other. I don't even know, man. Two weirdos clash with each other. It's me, Hisao. I'm not sure if you know Tezuka from class 3-4. From his face, I can see that not only he doesn't know RIN, he also can't see her from this short distance. Oh, sup dudes? Dudes? Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forward, almost straight into RIN's stomach. RIN looks at his outstretched hand in confusion until Kenji clears his throat and retracts the hand. Hey, come on now, Kenji. Can't you see that she doesn't have any hands to shake? There is something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm the most swift man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. I think I respect Kenji a little bit more. Okay, so like, I kind of get why, because now Hisao's getting weird because of, you know, him hanging out with RIN, so, you know, so now, you know, Hisao talking to Kenji, yeah, you can understand him because he himself has gotten weird. The minds, abstract minds, you know. So, you're waiting for someone? He leans closer and lowers his voice to an agitated whisper. I see his facial muscles twitching. Come on, man. You can't talk about stuff here in public. They might be listening. Who? The feminists? I'm gonna have to go pick up some stuff from somewhere. And I don't want those snooping student council hacks to get on my case. Also, I don't trust your friend. Nothing personal. Are you sure he's trustworthy? It's not he, Kenji. I briefly considered telling Kenji about Rin's gender, but as it might end up badly for one or both of them, I decided against it. Yeah, I'm sure. Don't worry, you can see her as a boy for I care, Kenji. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get a feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna clash. I mean, weirdness clashes with weirdness. I don't know. However, there is little I can do now, apart from physical violence. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to mankind since they invented vegetarianism? He sounds like a vacuum cleaner salesman. I thought it was Sunday. I see you're not in the know. Yeah man, I'm talking about man eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can't talk here, but if you like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen and what looks like a convenience store receipt. Kenji furiously scribbles on the scrap of paper and then trusts it towards Rin. Here's the password. Memorize it and then eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, but it, dissolve in acid, whatever. I take the receipt from Kenji as Rin is unable to do so and glance at it. It's indeed a receipt, apparently for 2 rice balls and 5 boxes of matches. 5 boxes of matches? Whatever for. I hope he's not planning to burn anything down. On the other side is written just one word, the password. Honey muffin. What kind of password is that? I show it to Rin too, but she shows no reaction. Thank you. Yo, Hisao, you still in that club? The Club of Dark Arts? That's not what the art club is about, Kenji. Fine art. Anyway, yeah, actually just had a meeting today. Still got your wits about you? No shady mind tricks going on? Nothing personal, man, but I have to be on top of things. Can't get caught with my pants down. Why do you want to have your pants down? Speaking of which, you should really take showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal. Yeah, I know that, Kenji. Kenji looks around as if he heard something and then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off rapidly towards the main gate. Rin looks after him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. What's wrong with him? Well, Kenji's weirder than you, that's for sure, Rin. Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. That's an interesting episode, though, I must say. However weird it may be.